I know it's been a while since I recorded an episode. During my 90-day challenge, I said I was going to record an episode every single day, and I want to acknowledge that I haven't been as consistent as planned. So first, I want to apologize to my listeners who have been waiting for new episodes. If you've been following my journey, you already know I have talked about my spiritual experiences, my beliefs, and the challenges I have faced along the way. There have been times where I felt like things were working against me, times where I felt distracted, delayed, and challenged. But I'm here. It's Leo season. My birthday is loading, y'all. Period, poo. And today, I want to tell some personal stories because sometimes the lessons we learn come from the things we have personally experienced. Now, before we get started, let me say this. To the people who have doubted me, criticized me, or watched me to see me fail, nothing has changed. I'm still going to speak my truth. I'm still going to share my perspective. And, excuse me, and I'm still going to stand on what I believe. 10 toes down, fool. One thing I have always paid attention to is patterns. The small things people do. The things people think you won't notice. The energy behind certain actions. Sometimes it's not about one single moment. It's about repeated behavior. And that brings me into today's topic, rituals. Not just the rituals people openly talk about, but the everyday things that many people overlook. Let's start with something we can all, we all interact with every single day. Food. Food is powerful. Food connects us. Food brings families together. Food carries memories, traditions, and culture. But I also believe it is important to be mindful about what we consume and who has access to our food. Learning how to cook, understanding what goes into your meals, and paying attention to your surroundings are all forms of awareness. I personally believe preparation matters. I believe intention matters. And I believe protecting your energy starts with being conscious of what you allow into your life, including what you put into your body. Y'all know I'm drinking my tea, so give me a second. Now let's talk about another powerful element, water. Throughout history, water has represented life, cleansing, transformation, and mystery. There have been many conversations surrounding disappearances, drownings, and unanswered questions, especially within Black communities. These stories deserve attention, research, and thoughtful conversations. The Nolan Wells case being the latest that has communities across the world, not just the United States, questioning not only the events surrounding his death or the circumstances surrounding his death, but is bringing a deeper question about the cruelty within this nation concerning racial societies that lead out hate crimes as the main motive to their grotesque crimes. I encourage people to look into history, look into documented cases, and ask questions. Following murder cases, disappearances, kidnappings, and racially motivated cults is something I've done since a kid. Because understanding the past helps us understand the present. And this conversation is personal for me because I've always been someone who pays attention to patterns, signs, and things that don't sit right with my spirit. Growing up, I learned to observe. I learned to listen. I learned that sometimes your intuition notices things before your mind can explain them. And that brings me to some personal experiences from my own life. Now, I'm going to share another personal story that shaped the way I think about trust and paying attention to my surroundings. This story involves my family, and while I won't get into every detail, these experiences stayed with me. Everybody knows my mom's middle child, which is my older brother, was into sports with the school. There were a lot of situations surrounding those years that never sat right with me. One memory that has always stood out happened during a basketball tournament. He stayed with another family, and when dinner was served, the chicken was still bloody. Whether someone brushes that off or not, it was enough to leave an impression on me. There are other experiences that reinforce why I'm cautious about food. During another difficult period, while my mother was recovering from her burns to her arm, there were multiple meals that I personally felt weren't prepared properly. My sibling also became sick after drinking milk during that time. These moments changed the way I moved. They taught me how to pay attention. They taught me to trust my instincts. Later in life, I had experiences at work that only reinforced that mindset. There were times where I felt uncomfortable with food that had been left unattended or handled by people. From that point on, I became much more intentional about preparing my own meals and being mindful of what I eat. But if you ask my mom, my grandma, anybody that really knows me from a kid on up, I've always been very funny about food. Whether someone agrees with my perspective or not, it doesn't change what I experience, and it doesn't change the way I feel, the way I think, the way I move. I share these stories because they're part of the reason I believe awareness matters. Protecting your peace also means protecting what you consume, who you trust, and the environments you place yourself in. So, you guys, we're going to get into an African proverb. Knowledge without wisdom is like water in the sand. Knowledge is valuable, but knowledge alone is not enough. Wisdom is the ability to apply what you know with discernment, good judgment, and understanding. Without wisdom, information can be wasted or even misused. As we discuss rituals, traditions, and personal experiences, remember that not everything you hear should be accepted without question, and not everything you see should be imitated. Seek understanding. Learn the history, purpose, and consequences behind any practice before embracing it. True wisdom comes from asking questions, observing carefully, and making informed decisions rather than simply following the crowd. Today's affirmation: I seek wisdom alongside knowledge. I choose discernment over impulse, understanding over assumption, and truth over confusion. So you guys, I do have an engagement question. Let's get into it. Do you believe wisdom comes through experience, education, spiritual reflection, or a combination of all three? Share your thoughts in the comments or send me a message. I'd love to hear your perspective. As we close this chapter, I want to leave you with this thought. Knowledge without wisdom is like water in the sand. Take your time, ask questions, learn the history, trust your discernment. Not everything that looks powerful is meant for you, and not every single tradition aligns with your purpose. Protect your peace, guard your spirit, walk with intention, not imitation. Thank you for spending this time with me on the Spiritual Awakening Chronicles. If today's conversation made you stop and think, share this episode with someone who appreciates meaningful discussions. Until next time, keep seeking truth, keep growing through wisdom, and remember, stay savage, never average. Be the savage out.